The whole story.
The whole story. We want to know everything. Don't leave out anything.
I originally from Nairobi, Kenya. Moved to Cape Town in 2013. No, 2011. September. Yes, 2011. Almost 5 years actually. And then I came here as a model. That's what I wanted to do. That was always my dream. And then, ironically, my first job was an acting job. I got cast in Death Race 3 by the casting director Mito. Mito was like, you need to get into acting. You need to do this, you know. But for me, I was just like excited. I was just happy that I'm in a movie, you know. So after that, I went back to modeling, and then a year later, I got cast in a Danish play. So we went to Denmark for 3 months.
Were you actively sort of pursuing your acting during that time, in between Death Race and the Danish play?
Not actively. No, because like I said,
you were just modeling.
To me, I felt like it was a fluke that I got it, you know. So even when I was called in to audition for the play, it was my first time doing a play, you know. I mean, apart from those high school things that you do that are not really serious, you know. But this was like my official like a serious job, you know, working with professionals.
100%.
Yeah, and I went into audition, and I remember. I was auditioning against people who like have degrees in acting, people who have like pages and pages of plays that they've done, and I'm here with my headshot. I'm like, hey, I'm a model, you know. So getting there, and they're like, you need to present a monologue, and you need to do this and that, and I'm thinking, well, what are the odds that I'm going to get this job? But I had fun at the audition, and I just thought it's a learning experience, and I've been called in for an audition, let me just audition for it.
What was the monologue that you did?
Oh, I can't remember, but it was a novel that I was reading, because I wasn't very good at monologues. I was not an actor, you know. Again, I was just trying out, you know. So I did it, and then a few days later, I got a call back, and I was like, ooh, call back. Wow, look at me, call back. And then I went for the call back. Then a few days later, they said, yeah, I'm the one they want for the role. But the funny thing was, they were only looking for 3 people. That's 2 boys and 1 girl. And then the director he could not decide, you know, that's why it took him long. He could not decide who to, like, if I'm worth taking, because, you know, when he goes back, he has to justify why he didn't take all these qualified people and take this one who has almost nothing, you know, on a CV. But then he was like, you know what, I'm going to take a chance. I'm just going to take you. So instead of taking 2 boys, he took 2 girls. So I took the spot. Yeah. And then we went to Denmark, and again, to me, even at that point, I was still not serious about acting. It was my first time in Europe, and I was thinking, woohoo, 3 months, Denmark, hee. So to me, it was just fun and games still. But I must say, I loved it. I loved being there. I loved working. I mean, that's why I met all these professionals, people who've been doing this for years, people this is their life, you know. And I came to really respect it, from acting on stage, you know, and having like 300 people every night, to having 6 shows a week, which was really hectic. And, you know, it's like being thrown in the deep end.
Right. And what was your role in the play?
I had a few different roles, because it was a play, it was set in Tanzania. So it was half by a Danish family that moved to Tanzania. Okay. So it was like a half Danish, half English play.
Right.
So I played different roles, but the main one, different small roles, but the main one was the maid. The maid of the house was apparently having an affair with the owner.
Okay. So time-old story.
Yes. And that was really fun. And I remember the first night, because you know, when you're coming from a modeling angle, I feel like we meet so many people who keep telling you you're pretty and you can do this and blah blah blah, but they don't really mean what they say, you know. So I guess coming into acting, I already had that. I'd already experienced that. So when I was coming into acting, all my colleagues and the producers, the directors, they'd always be like, "Hey, Ebby, do this seriously. Like, we really think you can do this. Like, you're a real actor." And I would just think, yeah, they're probably just saying it to be nice, you know, because you're always used to being told.
Lip service.
Yeah. But then on the first night, when we were backstage, I still remember this clear as day. We had like a 12-year-old girl who was playing another role in the play, and she came backstage and she was like, Ebby, is it true that it's your first time like actually doing this, like acting on stage and stuff? I'm like, yeah, it's my first time. And she was like, Ebby, I really think you should take this seriously.
Amazing.
Yeah, she was like, I really think you should take this seriously. I really think you're talented, and if you took this seriously, you'd really go far.
So you didn't believe the adults?
No.
But when a 12-year-old girl...
No, I didn't believe anyone else. But
Amazing.
Even Mito, when she told me when I was still here, I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Until when she had to speak to me, and it's like for the first time, I woke up, I saw it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, Ebby, you need to stop playing around.
Right.
You need to now do this seriously. So I came back to Cape Town, got serious, got my headshots and everything, and got an acting coach, and here we are. And that's when I officially started calling myself an actor.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've done some good stuff. I mean, you've been in Black Sails, Eye in the Sky.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that. I mean, that must have been quite a good experience. So in Black Sails, I mean, that was quite a big production. We know the set out in Somerset West. I don't think anyone hasn't seen the big ships that have been out there.
Uh-huh.
That's for Black Sails. So what was your involvement with that?
Black Sails is actually a funny story. I've auditioned for Black Sails ever since, I think, season 2.
Right.
I've been auditioning and auditioning and auditioning. And it's always, there's always something wrong, you know, always not getting the part. So it got to a point I was like, you know what, I don't want to audition anymore.
Right.
Like, I'm done. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. Because, you know, it's heartbreaking every time you go and try and you don't get it. So I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And then all of a sudden I get a call from my agent saying, Ebby, you're being requested for a role in Black Sails. And I was like, is it an audition? That was the first question. Like, is it an audition? Like, no. Like, it's being offered to you. It's up to you to say yes or no.
Yeah.
I was like, really? Like, all this time I've been trying out. You keep saying no. Just the moment when I say, I'm done, I don't want to do this, is when they call me. But I was really grateful, you know. I was really grateful, and I came to find out later on that the casting director was actually really pushing for me behind the scenes, you know. So they always knew about me. They always had me at the back of their minds. They just did not have a fitting role at that point until when the role came up and they're like, yeah, that's our girl.
And what was the role?
Well, I don't want to give out too much because you know the season is not out yet, and I want you guys to watch. It's on episode 4, but yeah. I can't speak much about the role itself.
And in terms of highlights, whether it be in Black Sails or Eye in the Sky or anything else you've done, what for you so far has been like a wow experience on set?
I must be very lucky because I've had so many on set. There are very few instances where I can say I didn't have fun, but all of them have been so good. But the most notable ones are in Eye in the Sky. I remember when I auditioned for it, it was a role for a guy. They wanted a guy to play that role. And then the casting director had already seen every guy that they could see, and the director, Gavin, was like, no, just kept rejecting them and rejecting them. Yeah. So the director, Munim, the casting director, was like, you know what, let's try a girl. Because clearly you're not taking any boys, let's try a girl. Yeah. So I was sent in, but it was very clear from the beginning that they're looking for a man. So the chances of me getting it, you know. But I still went in and I auditioned, and then I never heard from them. Then I was like, well, then I guess I didn't get it, you know. Yeah. And then like a month later or something, I get a call from my agent saying, oh, Ebby, remember that role for Eye in the Sky? I'm like, huh? Because I don't even remember the project, you know. And she reminded me, and then she's like, oh, you got it. I'm like, oh, did they like give me another role? Because I knew it was a guy's role. Yeah. They're like, no. The writers, they're changing everything to suit a woman.
Amazing.
I'm like, oh my God.
So that's kind of the second time that's happened to you where you've taken the role of a guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You might be onto something here. This might be a real niche. This is good stuff.
You know, I grew up a tomboy, so.
There you go. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I mean, we know how you got here. We know your story, but now, and I'm sure you get this a lot. Like as an actress, as a model, for the people who are doing 9-to-5 jobs out there, so you wake up in the morning and just tell us about your day. Like how a normal day. It doesn't have to be today, for example, because we know what you did today. But just like your general day, you wake up at what time?
Well, you know, in our industry, it's not a 9-to-5, so it's not, every day is different.
Right.
And that's, I think, that's the good thing and the frustrating thing, you know, because you can't really plan so much ahead because, like, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I know what I'm doing tomorrow and the next 4 days because I'm on set, but I don't know what I'm doing on Friday, you know. But someone with a 9-to-5, they already know. It's already boom, 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 you know. So what I try to do is to keep my mornings constant.
Right.
Then everything else can change, but my mornings is like a ritual. It's a constant thing. And I feel like the older I get, the more I value rest and sleep and taking care of myself.
Right.
So my typical day starts at 4:15 in the morning. Yes.
Okay, I thought I woke up early. I wake up 5:30. 4:15.
Really?
That's okay. You win. No competition.
I wake up. I try, but Monday to Friday I try to keep it 4:15. Weekends I wake up around 6, 7. But Monday to Friday I wake up at 4:15. I'm at the gym at 5.
Okay.
Like right just before it opens. It's kind of like a competition in my head for myself. I always get there like a few minutes before the gym opens, and there are always people waiting, and I'm like, do people camp here? I am never number one.
Maybe they think the new iPhone's coming out. It's going to be first in line.
I never get it. And every time, I'm never top 10. There's always 10 people there. Doesn't matter what time I arrive. There's a time I arrived at 4:45. On a rainy Monday morning, at 4:45, it was raining, it was on a Monday. I was like, I am definitely number one today.
Yeah.
I get there, there's already 6 people. Okay, anyways, so I get there at 5, and then I'm back home by 7. Shower, breakfast, and then the day can go whichever direction. I'm really getting into porridge right now.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I'm a big fan.
I don't know why.
I have my oats every morning. I've been doing it since I was a child. I love it. Love it.
It's very filling.
Yes.
Like you have porridge and then you're like good until like 3 in the afternoon or something. Like it's very filling.
So I mean, in terms of obviously, you know, being a part of your success or part of your career is the way that you look. So how much for you is I need to watch what I eat, I need to go to the gym, versus I don't really care because I've kind of always been healthy? Is that something that's been consistent throughout your life, or is that something that sort of, as you're taking your career more seriously, this is something that you have to think, hey, you know, I'm competing with other people that are maybe in better shape, or whatever the case may be? You know, is that something that you think about?
Health and fitness, you mean?
Yeah.
I guess this came from my modeling days,
right.
Because that was just us. That was just working out and keeping fit. But I guess the older I get, it's not just about physical appearance, but to me, working out and exercise is more also of a mental thing. You know, like it's just to create that balance in your life. And yes, I do think, especially in the industry that you're in, it's a very physical world in general, but especially in our work, models and actors. We might not want to talk about it, but it is what it is. That's why we have headshots, and that's why your headshot can get you in and not get you in. You know, so I mean, it's not a matter of being fat or being thin. It's just a matter of being fit and healthy, and knowing your body type and knowing that your body is your canvas and that's who you're selling. You know, people who are selling Coca-Cola, doesn't matter how they look, but the bottle and everything has to look great because that's the product. And now, this is us. This is our package. So it's kind of different because we're the product.
Right.
So the product has to be kept in shape. The product has to dress well. The product has to speak well. The product has to go for classes, you know.
And are you continually going for classes and sort of upping your game? I mean, what does that entail? Or do you sort of reach a point where you go, cool, well, I think I know what I'm doing now, and it's up to the casting director and the director if they like me or they don't like me? How much of that is I need to continue to be working on my craft, or I kind of know what I'm doing? And
I look at acting as a business, and
like
yes, and if you look at yourself as a business, if you look at any business in general, they're always upping their game.
Right.
They're always researching. They're always looking at the competition and trying to make the business better. So if you look at yourself as a business, then you're always looking at what is it that I'm doing wrong, or what is it that I need to improve on to get to the next level. So if you look at it from that perspective, then you'll always be taking classes because you're always trying to improve yourself.
Right.
You know, this came from, I have a friend in IT, and he told me he does these web designs and all that. And in their company, every 3 months, or is it every 2 months, they need to take a test. Because, you know, with technology changes every day.
Right.
So they need to take a test, and if you fail that test, if you fail it like twice or 3 times, you're fired.
Wow.
So he's like, you need to, every day, you need to be out there, you need to know what's changing, you need to know what's what, because at the end of 2 months, there's a test.
Right.
You know? And it made me think, that's how every business works, you know? And if I'm looking at myself as a business, then I need to know, is this business making money? Where is this money going to? Are we on a plateau? Are we going up? Are we going down?
Right.
You know? So it's very, very important to be taking classes, to be learning a new skill, to improve your business.
So what sort of, so apart from taking classes, I mean, in terms of skill sets, what are things that, you know, as an actor that you can do that you can improve on? I mean, is it things like learning a new language, or, I mean, what type of things are you doing that are growing your current skill set? Skill-wise,
I can say, well, what I am doing skill-wise, I'm really getting into yoga, just awesome. Physical, just to get physically fit and also learn a new skill with it. But my because every year I have, or every 6 months, I have like a new strategy, like something that I want the business to put into the business. Okay. So it would be, with me, like right now, I'm just focusing on marketing and getting my name out there and doing as many interviews and press as I can. So that's like my main focus for now. Right. And then after another 6 months, then I do something else. Okay. So be it taking new headshots, doing interviews, updating my website and putting new things up and getting a new demo reel. That's where the money is going to right now. Okay. Also taking a few classes here and there, a few acting classes.
So just to go back to, because you said you're doing yoga now. Yeah. How important is having some sort of spiritual practice? And I don't mean from a religious perspective, but just in terms of sort of having that peace of mind of doing something that is completely removed from work, but it directly affects your work. So, I mean, obviously yoga is something that is definitely a spiritual practice. I mean, there's a meditation, and some people call it a moving meditation or whatever, because obviously on a day-to-day basis, you're going through rejection after rejection after rejection, and that's got to take its toll. I mean, it's people that are not necessarily actors or models don't really understand that it's almost as bad as going to a job interview and not getting that job every single day. Yeah. Maybe 3 times a day that you don't get the job. And as much as you say, I don't think about it, it's still something that you have to deal with as a human, being rejected on literally on a daily basis.
I mean,
that was a big sigh.
Yeah. Yeah, it just tells you all those years of rejection. With rejection, I've come to learn to find peace from inside. That's where it starts. The moment you find peace from inside, and the moment you know that everything's going to be okay, and you're doing your best. Like with me, when I go, I could say, for now, the best audition that I ever went for is for a job that I did not get.
Oh wow!
That's the best audition.
What was that?
That was for the last phase, which with Sean Penn. I mean, they still gave me another role, but I'd gone for another. The initial one was for a bigger role that I'd gone in for, and I spent days, if not a week, just researching and doing every single thing that I could possibly do to get this job. And I went for the initial audition, and then I got a call back that like Sean Penn wants to see you in person. Then I went in for the callback, and it was amazing. Sean was really friendly and nice, and I did my audition, and I gave it my all, you know, and still I didn't get it, you know. But then Sean was like, you know what, you didn't get this role, but I still want to give you something else.
Right.
So I still got something else, but I still feel like given a chance to go back, I'd still do the exact same thing, because I feel like I've done my part. Right. And the moment you do your part, when you go for an audition, whichever audition, commercial, film, whatever, the moment you've done your part, you've done everything that you could possibly do, like there's literally nothing else you can change, then it's up to the universe. Like there's nothing more you can do after that point. And the moment I've done that, even if they reject me, I'm like, you know what, it's your loss.
Yeah.
You know, because this is the best. I cannot give more than this. Yeah. You know. So the moment you do that, even when you're rejected, you're happy. You're at peace, because you know it's not you.
Right.
It's definitely not you. You've done your part.
But that's something that's obviously taken you a while to develop, because it's not the kind of thing that you can sort of wake up one day and go, cool, this is how it is. I mean, that's quite profound, because it's reaching a level of sort of inner peace, knowing that you are enough, knowing that you are good enough, and especially in the type of industry where you are continually sort of not necessarily attacked, but put in a space where you might not feel good enough, because you're walking out of a casting and you think, oh geez, I really messed that up, I'm useless, I'm terrible. And then maybe you have a good day, like you said, like I really nailed that, and yet you still don't get the job. It's like, so at what point do you sort of say, okay, well, you know, how much personal work do you have to do, or how much personal work do you do as Ebby to say that this is the kind of work I do on myself? And if you were to sort of give other people advice to say that, listen guys, it is going to be hard, but this is the work that you should be doing, so that you don't sort of give up and you don't go out of your mind with all the negativity. And it's not necessarily negativity, but obviously being putting yourself out there, you are going to fail. I mean, it's inevitable. So, I mean, it's easy to get a desk job, because you just wake up and you go to work, and whether you do a good job that day or not, the job is still going to be there the next day.
Yeah.
So it's not that one is better than the other, it's just different. And, you know, sort of really stepping up and saying, okay, well, I did my best and I still didn't get chosen. You know, that's something it's a challenge. And I mean, is there something that happened to you at some point, or, you know, in terms of your own spiritual development that you did, or read, or sort of clicked in yourself that made that okay?
There's been so many times when I felt like I did my best and I did not get chosen, and it breaks your heart every time. You know, it doesn't matter. Even up to now, I can't say I'm at that point where I don't care.
Right.
Because I think when you stop caring, that's when you start losing. Because you care, that's why you're there, you know. Otherwise, if you didn't care, you wouldn't show up in the first place. But with me, I'm a very spiritual person. So that helps me, you know, just going to church, reading my Bible, and my pastor is also my mentor, and I go and I sit down with him. And I remember in the beginning I was always crying, like I'd go to his office and I'm like, ah! You know, I'm like, oh God, that sounded terrible. But I'm like, I'd always cry and be like, just what's happening, you know, like there's no breakthrough, I'm not seeing anything happening, you know. And also, and he'd always like hold my hand and we'd pray and we'd, you know, like he'd really encourage me. But again, that's not enough, you know, because then tomorrow you go for another audition, it's the same story.
Yeah,
exactly,
you know? Exactly.
And that really helped though. And also I started doing Kundalini yoga, which is more of a meditation kind of thing, and just finding peace from within.
Right.
I read this book. It's called oh God, I've forgotten the name. But it's about just The Art of Happiness.
Yes.
by
Is that the one that's got the picture of the Dalai Lama on the
yes,
front?
it's by the Dalai Lama,
Right.
actually.
I've
The Art
read
of
that.
Happiness.
I've read that.
The
Very
Art
good.
of Happiness. I don't know, I forgot the title, but after reading that book, he was always talking about there's a level of joy that you always have,
Right.
that you always try to maintain. So if this is your constant level, if something good happens, of course it goes up, but it will always go back to
Right.
that level,
Right.
you know. So if something terrible happens, it will go down,
Yes.
but then again after some time, it will always go back. So he's always talking about try work on this
On that
one,
one.
you know, and
Yeah.
then soon it will keep going up and going up, and at some point you'll just be nothing shakes you.
Right.
You know, and that's what I try to work on, and to just try and work on the positives. And I think what also helped me a lot was when I was starting out and nothing was happening, and I'd always worry about tomorrow. I'd always worry about, then how am I going to pay my rent? Then how am I going to do this and that? And then the following year, because I always keep a journal, a daily journal, which is a task, but I always keep a daily journal. And the following year, I was just looking back at my journal and just looking at all the frustrations that I had. And I'm like, the funny thing was, everything worked out.
Right.
Every single thing worked out. It didn't work out the time I wanted or how I wanted it to work out, but it did work out. So, and the weird thing was, me worrying and crying about it did not help one bit.
Right.
It did not help. So after looking at that, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to worry. I'm just going to put in my 100%. And I think when you put in 100% in whatever that you're doing,
Yeah.
then the universe will just do the rest. It's
Amazing.
just up to the universe.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what inspires you? I mean, what are you reading? Are you reading anything? Watching TV series, movies?
I'm actually watching a lot of TV, more than I'd care to admit,
Yeah.
actually.
Good series?
Yes. Right now I'm watching Quantico. I started watching
yeah.
Quantico a
What do
few
you
days
think?
ago. I think it's quite good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love it. And I love the way they have this bunch of new, fresh, young actors
Yeah.
working on it. And the lead, she's Indian, Priyanka, and she's like the first Indian woman to be a lead in a hit American show.
Right.
You know, so win for diversity.
100%.
You know, I am loving that, and I hate doing this, but there's so many shows and there's so little time, so I'm now watching 2 shows at the same time.
How's that even possible? You got one eyeball here,
No.
one eyeball here.
No, I watch like an episode here, 2 episodes there, then an
Okay,
episode
okay,
here.
so jumping around.
Yeah, just jumping up and around. But I'm watching The Wire.
The
Started-
Wire.
yeah,
What about
so-
that? I haven't watched it myself. Apparently it's very good.
Yes,
And you
it
think I
is.
should watch it?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm loving it. So that's what I'm doing, and also going to the movies. I always think, as an actor, even if it's once a week, even if it's once a month. I mean, I know people now, everything you can access it in your own home, but I feel just the experience itself of sitting in a theater and just watching it big screen.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So I always, once a week, I always invest in just going to the movies and watching something when I
Cool.
have the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you also do a lot of blogging. I've read some of your posts and that kind of thing. Talk to us a little about that, and just social media in general. You said you're doing a lot of marketing. What role does that play in terms of being an entertainer, an actor in today's world? Because before we didn't have all these interesting sort of platforms where you could self-promote and sort of reach your target audience, whereas, you know, in yesteryear, people would have to write articles about you. I mean, appearing on TV would be like unheard of, and now we have YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, Twitter. There's just all these amazing platforms where you could reach your potential audience. And I often hear, not necessarily from the young upcoming actors, but there is still a big sentiment where, you know, I would maybe sort of suggest saying, well, why don't you write a blog or have a YouTube show? And there is still some resistance where people sort of are like purists and they want to be discovered.
Right now, it's such a fantastic time to be an actor simply because of that. simply because of social media and the internet. I mean, I meet some actors who are like, I'm not on social media, I'm not on Facebook and stuff and Instagram and all that because I just feel like it's too much and everything.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? If you're thinking of yourself as a business,
yes,
then you will know just how important it is for people to find you. And trust me, even for me, if I have to look for someone for like, it will take me less than a minute. If I Google you, I cannot find you. I cannot find you on social media. I cannot find you on I cannot find you. That's it.
Right.
Just move on.
Right.
You know, and I just feel like, I mean, look at something like Mercedes-Benz. It's a car, but it has an Instagram. It has a Facebook.
Right.
So how much more should you do as an actor?
Yeah.
You know, because there's so much more that you can do to put your face out there, to put your name out there for people to talk about you, and talking about you in a positive light, you know, because it's not about bragging or it's not about bragging. It's just about marketing yourself. And again, if you look at yourself as Coca-Cola, what's Coca-Cola doing? Coca-Cola is on TV, it's in your face, it's on the billboard, you know. So the moment you look at yourself as a brand, as a product, then you'll do everything that you can do to put yourself out there, right. Make it accessible for people to find you and to know who you are. Yeah.
So what is for you as a social media strategy? What are you doing? What are you currently doing?
Well, my Facebook is very active. My Instagram, I must be quite honest, I still don't know how Twitter works. But
fair enough. We can have a lesson afterwards.
Yeah. But it's not something that I'm proud of. But you know what? I was also one of those people who are against social media.
Right.
You know, I was really, to be honest, my Instagram only started when I had my website, because my web designer was like, you know what, you have a website, you need Instagram.
Right.
It's just how it is.
Right.
And that's how I got onto Instagram. And I was like, you know what, I now have Facebook, I now have Instagram. I cannot have so much, and I think less is more. You don't have to. It's not a must. It's good to have all of them if you can manage them. But if you Google like my name, you'll still find my website. You'll still find my Instagram. You'll still find my Facebook. I think that's enough.
Yeah.
You'll still get to me. But if you want to add on every other thing, it's still fine, you know. I just feel like we live in a world where everything is constantly changing. I remember my best friend Gloria she tried so much to get me onto Instagram. Finally, I got onto Instagram, and I'm calling her. I'm like, yo, I'm on Instagram now. She's like, yeah, we're now on Snapchat.
Yeah.
What?
Are you on Snapchat yet?
No.
I'm still trying to figure it out. It's really complicated.
No, I just felt like everything is moving too fast.
Yeah.
I literally just got onto Instagram, and she's like, yeah, I'm no longer there, girl. It's Snap. I'm like, the moment I get to Snapchat, then what's
next? But there will be something. That's reality. And if you're not sort of
keep
first in the market, I mean, you are going to get left behind. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, I think Facebook's going to be around for a long time. It is a behemoth. What sort of things are you putting out there?
On my social media? Well, just work pictures, everyday pictures. Sometimes if I feel like I've gone a few days here and there without posting anything, just to keep it going, just to keep it alive, you know.
So
I also don't want to overshare. I don't want to be like posting 3-4 pictures a day.
Yeah, this is me brushing my teeth.
I think sometimes it's too much. Sometimes you genuinely do not have anything to post.
Right.
And if you don't. You don't.
Right.
You know, don't just put a picture for the sake of.
Right. So there needs to be something that's authentic and real, as opposed to making stuff up just to, this is my coffee, and taking a photo of that.
Yeah, I think with Instagram is more social, so it doesn't have to be like all serious and and this is me and I'm an actor, you know.
Right.
I think with Instagram it shows your other side, that is your more goofy side, or you're more just I'm chilling and this is just who I am on a day to day.
Right.
I think that's what, like when I look at the Hollywood actors, that's what they post, you know, like it's just seeing them as them and not as the character.
Right.
You know?
So sort of breaking down that persona of I'm a big celebrity versus actually no, I'm a real person.
Yeah, I'm just a person. Yeah.
Driving my little Honda Accord to work.
Yeah.
Cool. And is there anything that I haven't asked you that I should have asked you that you want to tell us about?
Yes, actually, I think growing as an actor and also as a model, I feel like we have acting classes, we have accent classes and all that, but I think as a fraternity, we need someone from a business side of things, say a financial planner or something, who would, honestly, we need a workshop as actors, as models, just someone to teach us on how to manage our money.
Yeah. Because
I feel like, first, like I said, we are a business. And when you're coming in from whichever, as an actor, as a model, from whichever background, some of us don't have any experience any experience with money and with financial stuff. Yeah. And you know, with how the job comes in, it comes in once and it's like a lump sum. You just get a lot of money at once and you're like, ah! You know, you're just flashing those dollar bills. And then after a few months or even after a few weeks, you're back to nothing. Yeah. And then you were hoping that maybe you had a callback or an option for something else. You're hoping that will come and cover this, and then it doesn't happen. And then you go for like months. Some even go for a year. Without it happens. You go a whole year with nothing. And then you look back and you're like, oh, you know, what did I do? And it happens every day. And it's even worse for models, because I remember when we were starting out, you know, we were so young. You're like, at 19, you do a worldwide campaign. You get paid a lot of money. You're still very young. You're literally just from high school. You have all this money. If you're lucky enough, then your parents manage the money for you. But with agents, it's not their job to manage your money. They just give you your money. You do whatever you want to do. I mean, I remember when I first moved to Cape Town, there's this male model who'd booked this worldwide campaign. He was bawling. He had so much money. We're living in the same house. He moved to his own apartment, a rented place, of course. I'm talking 3 bedrooms, jacuzzi, ocean view. It was amazing. He was living there, and I'm thinking, oh my God, like if I had that kind of money, that's exactly what I'd also be doing, you know? And then after a few weeks, completely broke, moved back to the model house and everything. And I mean, I'm learning from them, and I'm also learning from my own mistakes, you know? I mean, there's also times when I've also made a lot of money, and I thought, oof, I'm never gonna work a day in my life, you know? And then I look back, after a few months, the money's gone, and then I'm like, oh, but what did I spend this money on? You know? So I think if we could have someone, a financial planner, or someone who could come and sit with actors and models and tell us of investment plans, tell us where we can be putting our money and watching it grow. You know, I think that would really be great, because we need direction when it comes to that. A few people who have parents or who have relatives or people who guide them, then they're lucky. But the few of us who are left to our own devices, we're just going buying iPhones, buying all the latest shoes, and you know, and we just waste it because we think tomorrow I'm going to book another job. Okay, fine, it's true, you can book another job, that's fine, but what if you don't? What if that doesn't happen? Then you're back to having nothing, and it sucks because we don't have pension plans. No, we don't. You know? So when we get to 60, we have nothing. If you haven't been saving, you have nothing. So you can't just live for now. And I think it would be really important for us to have a chat with financial planners and seeing on ways of investing our money and using it properly.
Have you personally had that chat? Have you got a financial planner?
Yes.
Okay, good.
I've been burnt once too many times.
Good. I'm glad
I've been burnt once too many times, and I have a financial planner who we always sit down and we always discuss. We always know where to put the money, what to do. Sometimes I think he takes too much, and I'm like, are we putting all that in that? And it's like, and I look back and I'm like, it's been a year now, and I'm loving it. You know, I'm amazing. Seeing the growth, and because if this is money that I'd just be having it to myself, definitely it won't be there. But then if you have a plan where, because before I was like, I have a savings account and I have my regular one, but then the thing is, if it's too easy to access it, then you'll always access it. You know,
Right.
it's your money.
Yeah.
But then if you have a plan where every month there's like a debit order, like it's the moment the money hits your account, it's gone. So you don't even get to touch it.
But it's gone to a good place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Then you find
100%.
other ways to fill up. So when the money comes in, you already know 1,000 or 2,000 is already gone to something else.
100%.
You know, and then you know whatever's remaining, that's yours. Now you
Yeah.
can plan on that,
Yeah.
on what you have. And I think it's very important for especially the young ones coming in, the models booking all these big commercials and everything. It's so important for us to be taught that now.
Yeah.
Because I have a friend, the worst thing, I just met this guy a few days ago, and he's now 28, and he's like, the past 3 years, he's been paying a debt.
Wow.
He had all these cards, all this Edgar's cards and whatever cards and all these cards. And the thing is, the big companies, they've now realized that the young people have money. We have access to money. So they give you all these cards and don't worry, you can pay it in 6 months. Don't worry, bro, just have it, have it. And you just go and swipe. He realized by the time he was waking up, he realized he was in excess of 300,000 rand.
Wow.
And then he just lost his job. He did have a good job.
Right.
But then life happens. He got retrenched.
Yeah.
He had to go back to his parents' house. He had to sell his car. All these debtors coming to knock at his door. Hey, we need our money.
Wow.
And by then he was 24 when this was happening. It was like, imagine I am 24 and I'm in debt. And it's not like debt, like it's school, it's
not good
tuition.
debt.
It's not good debt. It's not
Yeah.
tuition. It's just stuff that you've been swiping and swiping.
He's got nothing to show for it.
Yeah, exactly. But he's learned his lesson.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the one thing that we need.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, basically you're saying live lean and mean, get a financial planner, get a pension fund, do your homework. That's all great stuff. So just final closing thoughts from you to them.
It's not going to be easy, but it's worth it.
Nice. Ebby, thank you
That's
so
it.
much. It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
We look forward to seeing you in whatever else is coming up. Black Sales.
Yes.